Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakahakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure unto the end. This is the Brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson. And in this lesson, I'll be profiling a little bit of this video from City Prepping's YouTube channel titled Class Warfare in America, What Happens Next? And, class warfare is going to go into a little bit about that situation, with that deletion of that United Health Company's CEO. And, whether it's going to lead to more incidences like that. And, as he said, class warfare, which we can tell you exactly, what's going to happen next. Not necessarily from that situation, but just in general in the United States of America, there will be civil unrest in this country, which is going to include class warfare, race warfare, political warfare, and divisions at damn near every level you can think of. And it's all a part of biblical prophecy. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And this is talking about the spiritual Egyptians as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8. Spiritual Egypt, the United States of America, and chiefly these American Edomites, or so-called white people, because, this is their country first and foremost. And those on both sides of the spectrum, see that their way of life and how they want this country to run is in jeopardy. So you got a lot of these Edomite Americans on edge out here, and the situation is only going to get exacerbated as the economic situation continues to decline. Food shortages come, the cost of living crisis and inflation, just pushes people to the edge. And we're also on the verge of World War III. There's a possible, other pestilence out here with the avian sneeze, which could lead to more LOCK downs, which, California just declared a state of emergency, and a whole host of issues or black swan events that could just kick things off and have these Americans at each other's throat for survival and other reasons. And they shall fight, hey, not talk it out. They shall fight, everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And that sounds like a case of class warfare to me. But I'm going to start this clip at the 1 minute and 27-second mark and jump around a bit. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Class warfare. As the income gap between the ultra-rich and the rest of the country continues to widen, I really can't help but to wonder if America is on the brink of class warfare. And this thought comes to mind as we learn more about the shooting of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. Now, Thompson, who lived in a Minneapolis suburb and was a married father of 2 high school sons, was set to speak at an investor meeting in Midtown New York hotel when he was shot in the back. Now, the accused...
And there's been information coming out too that he was gonna, testify against Nancy Pelosi due to her having knowledge of insider trading with United Healthcare, which I think netted her, 11 or 12 million dollars. So there's, as with all these events that take place, there's more than meets the eye to the official narrative. But, to the majority of people out here, they're looking at it at face value. And as you'll see, hey, there are people on both sides of the situation. Those that are for it and cheering it on, and those that, are, thought it was a tragedy.
shooter has been held online as a modern-day folk hero. And this incident really highlights the boiling frustration with the country's health and insurance systems. Thompson, who had a salary exceeding $10 million per year, had worked at United Health Group for 20 years and led the insurance arm since 2021, providing health coverage to over 49 million Americans and generating $281 billion in revenue last year. Now, he was known for promoting value-based care, but faced criticisms for plans to deny payment for non-critical ER visits. In navigating the health...
And, it's bigger than just, the healthcare system. These people are angry at, those on Wall Street, the economists, those in the government. Americans have their grievances because a lot of them are waking up to the fact that these politicians, these higher ups, these CEOs and the rich in society don't give a damn about them. It's all about the bottom line. And as they see, these people make more money and make horrible decisions, which puts them in a worse situation, hey, as they say, there's going to be that straw that breaks the camel's back. And then you have that famous quote from Gerald Celente: when people have nothing left to lose, they lose it. But now I'm going to jump to the about 3-minute and 9-second mark.
Healthcare CEO. But the real story here is the public's reaction and the broader societal implications, highlighting the indifference and even glee at the CEO's death after many were denied coverage. Now, several online defense funds have been created for the suspect in this case by anonymous people, including one on a crowdfunding website that, as of Thursday afternoon, had raised over $50,000. As America increasingly turns toward corporatization, prioritizing investors over employees and profits over people, this trend suggests a potential future of class warfare and societal breakdown. President-elect Donald Trump has announced plans to lower the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%, a rate not seen since Reagan's era. He's also assembling a cabinet of billionaires worth a combined $340 billion, and the wealthiest in United States history. Now, some say this mocks his campaign's appeal to working-class voters. Is it a move back to trickle-down economics that will widen income inequalities further? Historically, investor-focused models have translated to wealthier CEOs and shareholders and less for employees. To drive up shareholder profits, corporations, they have to reduce labor costs, and that's just a fact. It's also a fact that most Americans are not shareholders. About 21% of U.S. families own stock through brokerage or retirement accounts. As the rich get richer and the working class continues to work harder for the same pay, will this further divide and create more animosity towards the corporate elite? The average American salary is $63,795, just slightly over 63 millionths of 1 billion. And this gap is so wide that I wonder if it is sustainable. The indifference, the glee, and even delight at the CEO's death really suggests that we might be on the cusp of a future class war. Someone this week pasted wanted posters outside the New York Stock Exchange naming other executives, including the next CEO of United Healthcare. Now, the bigger message here is that as America turns increasingly toward corporatization and incentivizing investors over employees, it's not likely to end well. It's possible that the public will realize that most politicians railing against the elites are actually the elites. The reality, I believe, is that many may think they're candidates.
And that's straight to the point. The majority of these politicians don't give a damn about you. They only care about their next campaign and filling their pockets. And really, your vote doesn't matter, because if you ever noticed, whoever gets into office, they'll say what their constituents want to hear so they can get those votes, but they follow on with the same game plan, which is ultimately the game plan of the elites, such as the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers that want to bring about their NW0, that great RESET. And as K. Tissue Schwab of the WEF famously said, you will own nothing and be happy. Real quick, this is Revelation chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. And what this is talking about is those iron toes mixed with miry clay on that statue that Daniel saw in Daniel chapter 2, which is the reincarnated Roman Empire, this NATO EU system, which the U.S. is at the head of. And as it said, he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him. the ancient pagan Edomite Roman Empire, those legs of iron, which you can see this whole system, especially in America, is based off of that old Roman principle. And what did they have? Political parties, one for the average man, the plebeians, and ones for those higher up in society, the patricians. And they had a Senate house where, senators would vote, very much like you have today. And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And that wound was healed beginning with the Renaissance, or the rebirth, when Esau, the so-called white man, started coming back into power. But as it said, and he spake and he had two horns like a lamb. This is talking about that American political system, the Democrats and the Republicans speaking like a lamb, docile and friendly, and telling you what you want to hear so they can get your votes. And he spake as a dragon, but there's still a part of what? The ultimate, game plan. Again, what those elites want to push, these draconian measures, taking away your rights and making you permanent serfs. Remember, they got that saying, you got the left wing and the right wing, but what? They're just two wings on the same exact bird.
Candidate or elected official will solve their problems, especially their financial ones. But are they actually more beholden to the sponsors and mega donors? What do you think?
Two horns like a lamb, but spake as a dragon.
Are these just the first shots fired in a more significant battle, or is this a one-off event? Are we on the cusp of class warfare, or are we on the cusp of the most tremendous boon in American history, as some currently very wealthy people want you to believe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below.
And we know, according to biblical prophecy, we're on the cusp of civil unrest, class warfare, race warfare, political warfare, brother fighting against brother, city against city, violence on the streets of the United States of America. But that's it with that video. Now I'm going to go to 2nd Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, Egyptians against Egyptians. Again, that can be one race against another, one political group against another, one class against another, etc., etc., and swords in their hands. And that modern day sword in the United States of America is the gun, which, the leader that took out that United Health CEO, he used that sword. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men. And sedition means conduct or speech inciting open rebellion against a ruling authority or monarch. And what did that guy City Prepping just say? In the event of this deletion of that United Health CEO, there have been people starting funds to help the alleged deleter, and people gleefully cheering the actions he took. And it's not just with these corporate types, but even those in the government as well. I did a video a couple of years ago on how they did a poll, and with each successive year, the threats against those in the U.S. government have increased. And again, it's going to get to the point to where they're going to go from throwing words at each other to throwing lead at each other and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And those are those in the government, the mayors, the governors, the senators, the president, as well as the authorities that uphold the system, like the military or the police. When, society has truly gone to hell, people aren't going to care whether you got a suit or a tie, a badge or a uniform. If you're standing between them saving themselves or, their loved ones, that's going to be an easy decision for them. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. As it said in the book of Judges, in that day, everybody did what was right in their own eyes. So that's it with this lesson. And with this lesson, I hope you sincere, Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. we are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.